Shalom Aleichem everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful Yontif. And now we find ourselves in the middle of such an amazing Chag. I think here living in Eretz Yisrael, and the weather becomes a little cooler, and to celebrate Chag HaSukkos in Eretz Yisrael, there's absolutely nothing like it. If you've experienced it, you've experienced Sukkos in Yerushalayim, in Beit Shemesh, wherever it might be, there's something profoundly special in the air. And this very special Chag, and it's no coincidence that it is known as Zman Simchasenu. And while all the regalim, there's a mitzvah of V'samachta b'chagecha, perhaps more than any other regel, Sukkos has this quality of Zman Simchasenu. If you look at even in the Psukim, in the Parshas HaMoadim, in the various places where the Torah describes the Moadim, you'll find that the term Simcha is found more by Sukkot than it's found by Pesach, than it's found by Shavuos. In a very real way, there's something profoundly simchadik that you find more than any other Chagim when it comes to Chag HaSukkos. Where exactly does this simcha lie? Why exactly is Sukkot more than the other Chagim? They're all Zmanim of Simcha, but why is Sukkot specifically Zman Simchasenu? So I think there are three separate and distinct ideas, but what emerges is Sukkot is the climactic regel. When it comes to regalim, just in the chronological order, Pesach is first, then we have Shavuos, and Sukkot is really the last of the regalim. And I think it's on three levels that we can go ahead and look at Sukkot. On the one hand, it is the climactic regel when it comes to the Geula process. And each of the regalim have an element of Geula that they emphasize and that they highlight. For example, Chag HaPesach is when it all starts. That is Zecher L'Yetzias Mitzrayim. That is when we leave the Golus. And we're found in the Midbar. Kriyas Yamsuf, celebrated on the seventh day of Pesach. And of course, Yetzias Mitzrayim, that's the heart of the Haggadah, that's the heart of Chag HaPesach. But just to leave Mitzrayim and then be wandering the desert, that would be very insufficient, and therefore we have a stop along the way, and that is of course Zman Matan Torasenu, that is Kabbalas HaTorah. And to really truly be an Am Segula, we need that sense of Kabbalas HaTorah, and that's what Shavuos represents. But that's not our destination. Our destination is to now, we've left Mitzrayim. We've taken the Mitzrayim out of us. We've left Mitzrayim. We've been Makabel the Torah. We're now Mamleches Kohanim V'Goy Kadosh. But now we have to make that a real part of our lives. Now we have to move into Eretz Yisrael. And that's really what Chag HaSukkos represents, is the process where the Sukkah itself, we're under Kanfei HaShechina, a unique sense of Hashgacha Pratis, which is specially reserved for Eretz Yisrael. In fact, one of the Sfarim writes that the Arba Minim, specifically that we shake on Chag HaSukkos, are the Arba Minim of Eretz Yisrael. They're unique to Eretz Yisrael. They're special minim of Eretz Yisrael, and as such, Sukkos is directly tied to that climax, that sense of Hashgacha Pratis that we have when it comes to the end of the process of Geula. And that's really what Sukkos represents. When it comes to the Geula theme, it's the climax of the Geula process. That's one aspect. The second aspect is agricultural. Is when it comes to agricultural, we also have these levels. We have these levels. Of course, Chag HaPesach is where it begins, the Chag HaAviv, where the flowers start to grow, things start to germinate, things are starting to happen. It's the beginning of the process. That's, if you will, the Yetzias Mitzrayim. And then we have Chag HaShavuos, which is of course Chag HaKatzir, where we start to harvest. We go ahead and we took the germinations of Chag HaPesach, and now we start to realize that. But it's not yet in our homes. It's not something that yet we can use. It's not something that fully belongs to us. And that happens at Chag HaSukkos. That's the Chag HaAsif, where we have this harvest and we start to bring it in. We now can partake of the bounty. It's the climax of the agricultural season, where we're now fully positioned to enjoy the labors that we had in the winter and the labors of springtime, and now we partake of that. Chag HaSukkos has the agricultural component, which is also climaxed at this Chag, Zman Simchasin. Of course, when things are heavy Simcha, and you can perhaps Simchas Beis HaSho'eva, we have these tremendous parties, Lo Ra'a Simcha Miyamav. So it could, perhaps, if unchecked, it could be geared and steered in the wrong way. Perhaps that's exactly why Chazal were koveh that we should read Koheles on this Shabbos of Sukkos, because unbridled simcha, if it's not channeled in the right way, it's not channeled towards kedusha with a real sense. So we need that message of hevel havalim hakol hevel. Perhaps that's why hakel, once every 7 years, we read in Parshas Vayelech, also happens around Sukkot time, because we need that reminder, that musar shmuz, that makes sure things are properly in check. That's the second aspect of the Zman Simcha. Of course, there's a third aspect. And here, Sukkot, on the one end, is one of the Shalosh Regalim, but on the other hand, it's perhaps the climax of what I will call the Tammuz Av Tishrei season, where we go from the process of Churban, the Shviras Haluchos, a sense of distance, disconnect to the Ribono Shel Olam. And then from Tisha B'Av to Rosh Chodesh Tishrei, we have the Shiva D'Nechemta. We have a process of comfort where we're coming back week by week by week. We had the Yemei Elul. We were reading every Haftarah as a Haftarah of Nechama. And then we have Rosh Hashanah, where we're Mamlech HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We climax that perhaps with Yom Kippur, where we have a real sense of connectivity. Our relationship with Hashem is restored. And now we can live it in a very, very real way. We take the inspiration of Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, and now we apply it. We bring it to our lives. We bring it to our sukkos. We bring it to our tefillos in a very, very real way, in a practical way. That's exactly what Chag HaSukkos says, is to take that inspiration and apply it, make it real. Wow. Ein simcha gedola mizu. So in a very real sense, Sukkot has these three aspects, and that's perhaps why we emphasize, that's why it's Zman Simcha Seinu, because it climaxes these three aspects. It climaxes the agricultural bounty, the national redemptive bounty, and perhaps most personalized today, B'zman Hazeh, is the personal redemption. And we should all be zocheh to tap into these causes of simcha, realize how profound this simcha is, and truly partake and enjoy this unique Zman Simcha Seinu.